Good afternoon, everyone. Sawadee Kap. Are you feeling good after lunch? Really? All right. All right, yes. I will be talking about keeping the lights on. But hey, what's happening? Do we have a blackout right now? Something happening here. No, don't get scared. Don't get scared. Today, only it's a fake blackout. But blackouts can be real. You can see it from these few headlines. There was a blackout at the beginning of the year in Bali. There was another one in Spain. People have been talking a lot about it. There was another major blackout in Chile. When you look at it combined together, these are three significant events that took place in less than 6 months. And people are saying that these are it's three of the 20 largest blackouts that have been happening over the last 25 years. You can see the impact of this blackout. It's impacting a lot of population. And it's also impacting a lot the economy. In Bali, impacting the tourism, Spain, industry and tourism also. In Bangkok, it would have also been industry and tourism impacted seriously. And the cost of that is big. So is it only because we are not lucky that all these events happen more or less at the same time? Or is it a warning? Does it mean that something is changing? And I think we all know that, yes, something is changing. Energy transition is happening. But what shall we, let's say, understand and conclude from that? The quick answer from the general public would be to question seriously the energy transition. Shall we continue to introduce renewables in the system? These renewables, it's a pain. It's creating a lot of issues in the system, and actually you can only introduce so much until the system blacks out. That you can expect as a reaction from the general public, people that are not specialized in energy, that maybe don't really have time or competencies to ask more detailed questions and provide better answer. You can also expect that to be the answer maybe from some of the nuclear lobby, coal lobby, or other people that want to keep the system as it was and are not really ready to fight for a better and more sustainable future. Now, in this room, we are all from the industry, we are all the experts, regulators, developers, manufacturers. It's our role to analyze this deeper. Yes, we know that renewables are posing some challenges. Why? First, because of intermittency. That's clear, we all know that. The sun does not always shine, the wind does not always blow. That will not change, that we cannot fix. Now, we know that to mitigate this intermittency, people are trying to forecast the weather as well as possible. But that also is never going to be perfect. Then, what we see more and more, and that a lot of people would say is due to global warming or climate change, we have more and more extreme weather events. That also is a reality. You need to take care of that. You need to be ready for the worst case scenarios. And then what we also know is that this renewable energy, especially solar, wind, they are behind inverters that don't provide inertia, at least most of it until now. And of course, because you have less inertia in the system is more, let's say, sensitive to changes. So yes, there are some challenges when you introduce renewable. But why are there really challenges and why are there really blackouts? That's still not the answer. In our view, the answer is because the system is still inflexible. We are relying on inflexible plants that are already existing, coal-fired plant, CCGT plants that were meant back in the days to operate on baseload, nuclear plant to do the balancing of this renewable. It's not going to work. That technology is not meant for that. And if you want to keep on using this technology, then you will need to curtail the renewables. So that lack of flexibility of the system for us is the main issue. Then if you go deeper also in the analysis of some of the cases I've been showing, there are also other reasons. It's also because in some cases you may have transmission bottlenecks, and in other cases because of aging infrastructures which are maybe not able to also cope with these new demands in the system. So shall the answer be, let's stop introducing renewable because it causes trouble? We cannot mitigate that. We don't have technology to do that. For us, we don't agree. Everyone knows the energy trilemma, right? Trying to balance in the best way affordability, sustainability, and security. What's clear is that renewable is the best way to provide sustainability. And I think that's still what we try to achieve as an industry and for the future generation, sustainability, yes. We also want it to be affordable, and we have seen the price of solar and wind coming down consistently the last 10 years. That continues to happen. So that power is more and more affordable. So that is coming from renewable, and this is working well. Now, the security part, I think this is the part where we need to work on together, making sure that the system is reliable. Now, what do we mean by flexibility? There are different types of flexibility. There is short-term duration, which is taking care of the flexibility on the second level, minute level, hour level, day level. And then you have more kind of seasonal flexibility, which is longer term. This slide is from the International Energy Agency. It shows that to address flexibility, you need to address these two types of flexibilities, and you need a combination of technology. One technology is not going to provide the flexibility for the system in the best way. So again, it requires experts to work on this issue because general public would like to get a black or white answer. It's not a black or white. You cannot do everything with batteries. Yes, it's part of the answer. You cannot do everything with demand response. It's part of the answer. Cannot do everything with hydro. It's part of the answer. You need everything. And just to show you what we mean, why you need all of that. Because, you know, in the past we've been saying coal-fired plants are flexible, baseload CCGT plants are flexible. Yes, it was flexible to take care of the evening peak when the load curve was quite easy to predict. But what you get now in system with high penetration of renewable, like Australia, where the market has a 5-minute settlement window, is this type of operation. On the same site, one of our customers called AGL has 2 Wärtsilä assets. One is a gas engine plant of 210 megawatt, and another one is a battery storage system of the 250 megawatt capacity. And this is showing that at any point in time, these two systems, they are working together to balance the system, providing different services, ancillary services, generation capability, and you can see the load profile, super flexible, multiple start and stop per day. This is what is required from the gas generating capacity to balance the system in places where you will have a lot of penetration of renewable, which might not be everywhere. So there is still a role for CCGT from Mitsubishi in some places. But places where you can introduce solar and wind, you need to benefit from that, and you need to have technology that can operate on this profile. Now we have put that on a picture to show you what is the flexibility, but we have also put it in music. And I'm going to play some music for you. We call it the Balancing Power Plant Symphony. And it will show you that how this engine plant, made of 20 units, is balancing the grid in one of the countries in Central America. The power plant has the 20 units. So if the sound effect works. I hope you enjoy the music. Yeah? But it really shows the type of flexibility that was required on a 6-hour interval. How many times you need to stop and stop this machine, how much they need to go up and down. And for that, you need to have specific capabilities from this technology. Jumping to my concluding slide. So what's important from the power sector now? What's very important first is that the policymaker, government regulators, they need to plan, because to be honest, what happened in some of these countries, we have been telling that for 15 years. We said that, yes, energy transition is possible. The first step is massive introduction of renewable, like you have in Spain. But we also said, once you get close to 15–20% of renewable penetration, you need to introduce flexible assets to balance this renewable. Otherwise, you cannot go further. And then, after that, you can retire your inflexible assets. So there was some steps. So some people have not been taking the steps at the right time. Now it's still time to correct it. And for some other countries, it's time to take the preventive actions and explain to the public why this is needed. So this investment will be needed. Power system planning is very important. It can be done with different software. Plexos, other software are existing, where now this software, they need to go down not only to the day forecast, they need to go to the minute level forecast to understand what should be my, let's say, my power generation mix to be able to cope with this demand. So this is what we expect from the regulators and the policymaker. From the investment side, then, of course, once there is a plan from the regulators, the utilities, the IPPs, they need to come up themselves with, some investment plans for this flexible capacity. Provided that there will also be some financial mechanism to make sure that there can be a payback. But most important is that there is collaboration, and I think that's why we are here today. Collaborate, regulators, developers, OEMs, technology provider, consultant, together to try to make this happen, and most important, to keep the lights on. Thanks.